उत्तपास्य नमन्त एव जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितां भवदीयवार्तां स्थाने स्थिता श्रुतिगतां तनुवाङ्मनोभिर् ये प्रायशो जितजितोऽप्यसित्रैस्त्रिलोक्याम्. Hare Krishna. The process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words and mind offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. Purport. Here the word Utapasya clearly indicates that one should not even slightly endeavor to understand the absolute truth by the process of mental speculation, for it invariably carries one to an imperfect, impersonal understanding of God. The word Jivanti indicates that a devotee who always hears about Lord Krishna will go back home, back to Godhead, even if he can do nothing except maintain his existence and hear topics concerning the Lord. Srila Sanatana Goswami has explained the words Tanuvan Manobihi, by the body, words and mind, in three ways. In reference to devotees, through their body, words and mind, they are able to conquer Lord Krishna. Thus, becoming perfect in Krishna consciousness, they can touch his lotus feet with their hands, call him to come with their words, and attain his direct audience within their mind simply by thinking about him. In the case of non-devotees, the words Tanuvan Manobihi refer to the word Ajita, unconquered, and indicate that those not engaged in the loving service of Lord Krishna cannot conquer the absolute truth by their bodily strength, verbal expertise, or mental power. Despite all their endeavors, the ultimate truth remains beyond their reach. In reference to the word Jitaha, conquered, the words Tanuvan Manobihi indicate that the pure devotees of Lord Krishna conquer his body, words, and mind. Lord Krishna's body is conquered because he always remains by the side of his pure devotees. Lord Krishna's words are conquered because he always chants the glories of his devotees. And Lord Krishna's mind is conquered because he always thinks about his loving devotees. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura has explained the words Tanuvan Manobihi in regard to the word Namantaha, offering obeisances. He explains that the devotees can take full advantage of the transcendental topics of the Lord by offering all respects to those topics with their body, words, and mind. One should engage his body by touching the ground with his hands and head while offering obeisances to the topics of the Lord. One should engage his words by praising transcendental literature such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as the devotees who are preaching such literatures. And one should engage his mind by feeling great reverence and pleasure while hearing the transcendental topics of the Lord. In this way, a sincere devotee who has acquired even a small amount of transcendental knowledge about Lord Krishna can conquer him and thus go back home, back to Godhead, for eternal life at the Lord's side. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Mataji. So, where did we stop yesterday? What was yesterday's conclusion by Lord Brahma?
Brahma tried to test the potency of the Lord. And after testing the potency, he said that neither he nor anyone else can estimate the potency of the transcendental body of Lord. Which showed a lot of mercy on Brahma. and who had appeared to fulfill the desires of the pure devotees. And as far as Brahma is concerned, he is free of all material affairs. That is, he is not attached to any material affairs. And even though he was such a great personality, he cannot understand the personal form of Lord. So he is he on behalf of us, he is asking how others can experience such beautiful things about Lord, and by doing only the speculative knowledge about Krishna, we cannot understand Krishna. By doing rendering devotional service, that is Janma Karmeti Me Divyam, we can at least show some dedication to Krishna, and with dedicated effort only we can know Krishna and understand about Krishna.
Krishna wants a natural love, sir. Krishna manifested in many forms for us, sharing our love towards Krishna. So Krishna is in our hearts. So Krishna gave his audience to Brahma. There's so many Vishnus he showed.
Thus he humbled Brahma.
Krishna performed all activities for us. Instead, he needs love bhava, that is love bhava and affection from us.
Yeah. So what is the conclusion word of yesterday's verse?
Of all the transcendental forms of Lord, the Govinda form, that is the Krishna form, is the original and supreme amongst all the Lord's Vishnu expansions. That is which is extraordinary form of Lord Krishna. And we should not try to understand Lord by our speculative knowledge, and because Lord can perform any function with any one of senses. Though he know that Brahma had stolen the cowards and calves of the Vrindavan, he didn't chastise him, and he showed a lot of mercy on Brahma, and he thus having lots of mercy, he showed his all forms of Vishnu to Brahma. Such was the transcendental form of Lord, who has a lot of affection towards his devotees.
Okay, fair enough, agreed. But I'm just asking you in one word or in one line, what is the conclusion, yesterday's conclusion of the second verse? How is Brahma concluding?
Krishna gave his audience to Brahma.
No, that's not the conclusion. Of course, he gave audience to Brahma, even though he actually tried to challenge Krishna in an indirect way, because he never knew that the child was Krishna, isn't it? He never knew it was, I mean, in the sense, he doubted whether it is the Supreme Lord or not. It was not, he never knew, It was like he doubted whether, he couldn't believe or he couldn't accept that, the Lord could behave so childishly. However, what was the conclusion yesterday?
He will give audience. If we show love and affection towards Krishna, he will show his audience.
That is not the conclusion. Where is he saying in that verse?
Sakshat tavaiva kimutatma sukhanubhuti.
Means what? Means what? What is Sakshat tavaiva kimutatma sukhanubhuti? See, unless we don't understand the conclusion of verse 2, we will not be having the appetite to go for the third verse. So we should understand second verse thoroughly. Only then the third verse, we will have enough appetite to digest third verse.
He is saying that he is enjoying.
Neshe mahitva avisitam manasantarena. What does that mean? Should I share the screen? Now see. What is Brahmadev saying in the second verse?
I cannot understand the happiness you experience with yourselves by doing the pastimes in Nandamangaraj house.
It's like what to speak about understanding the happiness. Right. What is it before that? What is here?
I cannot, although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, I cannot understand your
personal form. How can you possibly understand happiness?
So what does it mean?
Though I am free of all material clutches, I cannot, Brahma cannot understand Lord's personal form.
So what is our take home for that?
We are indulged in so many material things and even Brahma cannot understand. Not attempt to understand Krishna.
Is this clear to all of us?
Yes,
if Brahma cannot understand Krishna, who is saying that he was able to withdraw from material affairs completely, right? And we have to understand the position of Lord Brahma, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
He is the primary creator, and he is also a Vibhinamsha, like us. We are also Jivatma. Lord Brahma is also a
Vibhinamsha.
Yeah.
Separated.
He is also separated. Vibhinamsha. He is also a Jivatma. It is just because, sometimes we are, we are able to chant 3 rounds or 4 rounds, and somebody is able to chant 16 rounds, somebody is able to chant 64 rounds, somebody is able to chant 180 rounds, right? Or somebody is able to have finished reading entire Bhagavatam 10 times. We are not even finished the 10th chapter of Bhagavatam, isn't it? So there is a lot of difference between that person and us, isn't it?
Yes,
What
sir.
is the difference? Is it that he's got extra 4 eyes? He's got extra 10 tongues?
No.
He withdrawn from material affairs. So
Yes. His purity level is high because he is able to withdraw so much from material affairs. He is able to focus more on spiritual aspects. Right. So this is even within this very own society of ours, we see that certain persons are so much elevated. What to speak about the demigods? Right. Who is very, very powerful, isn't it? So in front of demigod, we are very, very insignificant, isn't it? And what to speak about Brahma, wherein demigods are insignificant in front of Lord Brahma. Because in a single day of Brahma, after 64 Chaturyugas, the demigods all get changed. They all get vanquished completely. Imagine it, every day itself. In same day of Brahma, all the demigods are getting vanquished. So that much insignificant, you imagine we are seeing so many insects, so many animals around us, so many different other living entities around us, isn't it? Sometimes some living entity, we will say, okay, a dog may live for 10 years. Maybe a cat for 5-6 years, right? Maybe some kind of insects for 4-5 months. And if some insect which can live only for 3-4 hours, how much importance we will give to that insect? We will care to keep a dog, we will care to keep a cat, we may care to keep, some other pet animals, isn't it? But if that is living only for few hours in a day, how much we will pay attention to that?
Very little.
Very least attention, because we live for 100 years and we don't care for somebody who is living for 3-4 hours in a day, isn't it? So this is how in Lord Brahma's day the demigods exist only for few hours and they all get vanquished. And in demigods book, human beings exist only for few days. Our 6 months is their half a day. Our another 6 more months is their full day. So our 1 full year is their 1 full day. So if we are living for 100 years, means for them how many days it became? What? You didn't understand max, or you didn't understand what I'm trying to tell?
50 days, huh?
No, I mean 100. Yeah, okay. I'm saying if 1 year is equal to 1 day, then 100
Okay.
years is equal to
100 days.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we are living only for 60, if you say I am now 60 years old, that means in demigods, there's only 2 months has passed. We are only 2 months in front of them. So how much attention will they pay to our prayers and our request and our, all those activities and all those pujas that we do? We have just shown them for 2 months. How much importance will they give to us? They will not give at all. That's why it is very least when it comes to Kali Yuga human beings. Because we exist for very shana, for little time only. Right? So if we are so insignificant and Brahma's position is so very high, and what is Brahma claiming?
He doesn't understand the
He
personal
cannot
form.
understand the
Personal form.
Supreme Personality of Godhead. He cannot understand who is Krishna. He cannot understand Krishna's mind. He cannot understand Krishna's activities. He cannot understand Krishna's words. He fails to understand at such high position. Right? If Abdul Kalam is, it's like Abdul Kalam is speaking about rocket science to a child who is just 3 or 4 months or 2 years old. What will that child understand anything about what he is speaking about rocket science?
Nothing.
Right? And if that child behaves in such a way that he knows much better than Abdul Kalam on what rocket science is, how funny it will look. Forget about we who are 40 or 50 years old. What to speak about a child who is only 2 months old or just started speaking, let's say 1 year old. So it is, you can't even compare this. There is no question of comparison itself here. So when Brahma is saying that I cannot understand Krishna, I cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what is our position? So this is where we have to understand these second verses. What is second verse is throwing us to?
Even great personalities like Brahma cannot understand Krishna means how can we understand Krishna?
Yes. So it's like the door is closed. Forget about all these things. There is no question of understanding Krishna. All the doors is closed. Right? If the child is trying to speak about such high things, and speaking some nonsense about it, then we will say just stop. You don't even talk all this stupid or bullshit things, right? So it's like, everything is closed there where we have no scope. We can't even exist the number of years they exist. Or after existing for so many years, they can't understand. And we can't even exist that many years. So where is the question of we understanding? But in third verse, we get a hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, like we say that, we see a light at the end of the tunnel. So similarly, here Brahma is giving us a complete hope. If we are if we understand that we are really, actually, it is not a fabricated situation. Actually, we are so insignificant. It is only a matter of we understand that we are insignificant. We are actually insignificant, but we behave like we are so efficient. But we are not efficient at all. In any means, we are not efficient. So if that is our situation, what is Brahma's recommendation now? Jnane prayasa mudapasya namanta eva. Jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya vartam. Sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvana manobhir. What is he recommending? Only two things he's saying. Just stick on to these two things. If you are able to stick on to these two things, it doesn't matter what situation you are in. Sthane sthita shruti. Be in whatever position. You are in an insignificant form you are right now. You are taken birth in Kali Yuga. You are in the form of human form. And you don't need to think that I have to become like Lord Brahma to understand it. No, don't worry. You don't need to become Brahma and all to understand. You don't need to take hundreds and thousands of years to understand Krishna. You don't need to become a Brahmana. You don't need to become, a lady. You don't need to become a man. You don't need to become a householder. You don't need to become a sannyasi. Don't try to change any of your situation. Just be in your own situation. Don't panic. It's okay. Sthane sthita shruti gatam. Just be in your own situation. In whatever situation you are currently is, be there. But follow only two principles, he's saying. What is the two principles? Jnane prayasa mudapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya varta. These are the two principles he's asking us to follow. What is the first principle? To give up our speculative idea. Don't try to conclude who Krishna is, who Supreme Lord is, what the Lord is, what does it mean, what is that, what is this. Don't try to make your own estimation. When Brahma is saying that he cannot make any estimation about the Lord, we should never even think of making any estimation of what Lord is. You have to completely give up this idea itself and adapt to what? Jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya varta. That's it. Your life and soul should be that whatever the devotees of the Lord have spoken, that is what is correct. About the Lord, Bhavadiya Vartam, who Sanmukharitam, what the pure devotees have said. Just stick to that. What Kunti Devi is speaking, what Brahmadev is speaking, what Yudhishthira Maharaj is speaking, right? What Suta Goswami spoke, what Sukadev Goswami spoke. Delete everything else out of your mind. How is that possible like this? How is it can be like that? How Lord can be like this? How God can be like that? How I think the God is like this. I think every God is same. I think the God has no form. I think it could be God could be that way. Don't ever think of even thinking. Can you estimate how a rocket is flying? Would you want to argue? Would you want to tell your own ideas how to design a rocket? Will you call media and will you try to make an attempt to describe how a rocket has to be designed? Would you dare to do that? Will any of us dare to do that?
No.
Why? Because we know it is not in our capacity at all. So Brahmadev says, just jnane prayasam, any endeavor of this, udapasya, give up completely. To the degree that we are trying in our own effort, to that degree we will fail to perform Sanmukharitam Bhavadiya Varta. We will not pay attention to what devotees are saying. Why? Suppose some teachers they will say, in school it seems it's very practical as well, that they don't encourage the child to go for a tuition lessons before the teacher teaches in the class. Why? Because when the teacher teaches, the child will give no attention to it. Why? Because the child thinks that I already know. Then why should I even make an attempt to hear? Srila Prabhupada, he went to, to Paschatya Desh, to US or in Europe, wherever he went. There, those people were in what situation? Mlechas. They were mlechas. Mlechas in the sense, they don't know what is to eat and what is not to eat. What is illicit sex and what is licit sex. They don't know what it means as intoxication or not. That is their condition of life. And what did they become? Turn out to be
devotees of Lord.
Not just devotees, they became acharyas. They become gurus. They started preaching all over the world. From which position?
From nature's.
From nature's position, they became acharyas, gurus. We are more pious than them. Isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But why are we not able to understand Krishna consciousness? Why can't we become an acharya? Why are we struggling? What in span of 10 years, not even 10 years actually, in span of 3-4 years, in span of 3-4 years, they changed to an extent. They understood the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. They understood Bhagavad Gita. They started preaching. They gave up their whole life. They wore the saffron wardrobe. They started waking up at 4 o'clock every day, taking bath in cold water, attending Mangalarti, going out and distributing the books. Can we do all these things? Forget about becoming an acharya. Can we do at least these things? Understanding Krishna's supremacy and why we have to dedicate our lives. Jivanti. What changed? Biggest fact Srila Prabhupada said is they never knew anything about transcendental knowledge or anything about spirituality. They knew nothing about spiritual. All they knew is completely material. So whatever Srila Prabhupada gave them as spiritual knowledge was fully absorbed by them. For us, what is the problem? We already have so many ideas about spirituality. And when Srila Prabhupada speaks to us, we are filtering it. We are trying to, sometimes we say, no, that also I want to do, this also I want to do. I want to follow that also because from my childhood, I was practicing this only. From the day I was married, I was following this only as a religious. That only I was doing, this only I was doing, this only I heard, that only I heard. So what happens is we filter out many things what Srila Prabhupada tries to tell us. And we practice only little what we want to do. But for them, what was the situation? Everything that Srila Prabhupada spoke about the Lord was the first time they are hearing about the Lord. So what it was, Jivanti Sanmukaritam Bhavadiya Vartam. It was completely for them. And Sthane Shruti Sthane Sthita Shruti from their own situation, from wherever they were, right? He did not do any change. And here Brahmadev is saying, don't even worry about becoming a demigod. Don't worry becoming about sannyasi. Don't worry becoming about Brahma. Don't worry becoming about a great sages. We don't need to become anything. You just follow these two principles and do Tanuvana Manobhir. What is Tanuvana Manobhir? Serve the Lord with your mind, words, and body. Just Vak, Vana. Tanu means body. Manobhir means mind. If you do this, what in the previous verse he said you can't reach Krishna, you can never understand Krishna. Here he's saying you can conquer Krishna. Forget about understanding Krishna. He's saying forget about even understanding him. You can conquer him. Ajita Jito. The one Krishna is Ajita, means he is unconquerable. Can be conquered. A prayasho Ajita Jito. So what great sages cannot achieve, anyone can achieve is what Srila Brahmadev is telling here. Anyone can achieve or can conquer Krishna. How? By just doing Jnane Prayasa Mudapasya Namanta. Give up your speculative idea. Surrender. Namanta means giving up everything. That's why we pay Dandavat Pranam. When you pay obeisance to the Lord, it's like you have given up. When the police says surrender, you give up all your thinking that should I use this weapon, should I use that weapon, should I use that strategy, this strategy? No. When police says surrender, you surrender. Don't think of anything else now. That is called as Namanta. And then what? Eva. Just do what? Jivanti Sanmukaritam Bhavadiya Varta. Just accept the words of pure devotees. Just take that to your heart. Just take that to your heart and soul. That is your life, Jivanti. And be wherever you are and absorb in this. Anyone, Brahmadev is saying, anyone can absorb in the Lord by being in their own situation. Maybe you are a widow, maybe you have not been married, maybe you are physically challenged, you are that, you are this, you don't have a job, you are a big debtor, you have become this, you have become that, whatever situation you are. That's why he's saying Sthane Sthita Shruti Katham. But do one thing, Tanuvana Manobir. How this Tanuvana Manobir has to be? It has to be according to Sanmukharitam Bhavadiya Varta. Not according to my Mukharitam. Whatever I think. I am also doing Tanuvana Manobir. But what is my Tanuvana Manobir is according to my own ideas. Then Krishna is very, very far from us. He is extremely far from us. But if we are able to follow this simple principle, simple methodology, so that's why Srila Prabhupada says many times, actually Krishna consciousness is very, very simple. He says it's so simple. Krishna consciousness, Krishna has made it so easy, so simple. Even the dumbest dumb can become highly qualified in Krishna consciousness. But to practice it is difficult. Why? Because of we are not able to do that Udapasya, or neither we are able to do Sanmukharita. These two obstacles are so strong that what is very simple in Krishna consciousness becomes very difficult for us to follow. And these two things are not like by doing these two things, you will become like, very close to Krishna, or you are like in the reachable position of Krishna. It's in Krishna is in your arm's strength distance or something. No. Brahma is saying you can conquer him. We know what it means, like conquering, right? Who becomes under our control. That person who can't even be attained or achieved, or can't even be seen, or can't even get an audience of that person, comes under our control. If prayasho ajita jito. And what is his position? Brahmadeva is saying, Apyasi Tayas Trilokya. He is the one who is ruling the entire three world. That person will be under your control by following this only two things. Right, we will discuss the paragraph, only little more is there. Maybe in the next section we will discuss little more about it. But is this clear?
Clear, sir.
What we are lacking and how we can actually forget about achieving Krishna, forget about reaching Krishna love. This will take us to what? Conquering Krishna. Right?
Yes.
Is it possible to conquer Krishna?
Yes, that's what Brahma is saying.
Through
Now you
bhakti
see,
only, right?
now you are doubting, is Brahma saying is correct or not? What is our problem?
Through bhakti.
Yes, and how to do that bhakti? Who will teach you bhakti? If you cannot even learn a material science of creating a rocket, you need somebody's help. What to speak about rendering bhakti to Krishna, which is so high level? From where you learn bhakti?
Satmukha Amritam.
Yes, Sanmukaritam Bhavadiya Vartam. If we are able to follow the advices chanted by pure devotees, then bhakti will come. Right? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you, sir.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare